Snowmobiling, it has become far more than just basic winter transportation. Today we're going to take a look at this sport in all its aspects. From a few hundred ardent enthusiasts back in 1958 to now, well over 10 million participants, snowmobiling has firmly entrenched itself in the North American way of life. Why? It has given many people an opportunity to experience nature in its winter element. Today we're going to visit Wasaga Beach, Snowmobile Capital of Ontario, to take a look at the Kawasaki Winter Classic, representative of what has probably become one of the most popular forms of snowmobiling. Then later on, we'll go to the town of Markham, 20 miles northeast of Toronto, to watch some of the highlights of the Markham Winter Nationals, third stop of the Snow Pro circuit, on which the best snowmobilers in the world compete. But now we're in Wasaga Beach, and just getting underway here is the Snowmobile Safari, or otherwise known as Snow Ferry. With us is Cliff McWebb, driver-trainer instructor for the Wasaga Snowmobile Club. You've been involved in these events for over 12 years now. What do you attribute their growing popularity to?
One of the main reasons the Snow Ferry is so popular today is it involves the whole family. You don't have to worry about getting a babysitter or leaving the children home. They can go along on the safari with you.
The appeal of these weekend events is participation. The whole family can take part. Those that are too young to drive can either ride double or sit in a tag-along sled. The objectives are simple. Enjoy the fresh air and surrounding countryside while maintaining the convenience of motorized transportation. And of course, safety is always a major concern. Participants must wear helmets and proper clothing is encouraged. As well, headlights must be on. All road crossings are carefully watched and controlled.
Like we talked about, how it works.
Rough places, but good ride. Yeah. Good people to ride with, too.
Oh, not too bad at all. Good ride, good people. No problems at all with the OPP are interested in. Great bunch of people. And the hamburgers were super.
Yeah, we were even accompanied by the OPP. Good people to have along with you, you know, sometimes.
Both the Wasaga Winter Jamboree and the Kawasaki Winter Classic are being held to raise money for the Ontario Society for Crippled Children. Celebrities such as Waxman and Don Harron are donating their time and effort.
Well, sir, here I am in Wasaga Beach.
I'll have a lot of fun at the Wasaga Beach Winter Jamboree. I'm pleased to be here and proud to be here also for the Ontario Society of Crippled Children.
First thing I done was to crash into a truck in the parking lot of the McDonald's in Barrie. And then I fell off on the way on a turn. It could be quite a turn when I fell off, too, let me tell you. And I fell in the creek. Got all covered with brown stuff.
always a favorite at the Winter Classic is the Torchlight Parade. The town of Wasaga Beach, site of the Kawasaki Winter Classic, is situated on the southern shores of Georgian Bay, 75 miles north of Toronto. Its snow-covered beaches and country trails are so ideally suited to snowmobiling that it's become known as the Snowmobile Capital of Ontario. Even the mayor, Claire Robertson, is an avid snowmobiler. There's the Nancy Villa, headquarters for these events. The theme behind these events is participation and fun.
And I'm going to go have again with the king of the Kensington market, Al Waxman. He's been shooting. It's his first time, too.
It's my first time snowmobiling, but fortunately for me, I was with a group of people who are quite aware of safety and were quite considerate as we were going over hills and along roads, and it was a lot of fun. I also got a chance to take my kids for a ride, and they had a good time.
I've never been on one before. This is my maiden voyage on a Kawasaki Snowmobile.
For the more competitive, there are all kinds of races, ranging from the novelty to the slightly more serious. Incorporated into the Winter Classic this year, for the first time, are the sprint and dual slalom events. In the sprint, the object is simply to be the first one across the finish line. Because these events are being held in an effort to raise money for the crippled children, the highlight of the weekend is the draw for a snowmobile, which was donated by the people at Kawasaki. Raffle tickets were sold with all proceeds going to the Society for Crippled Children. Claire Robertson, the mayor of Wasaga Beach, is drawing the winning ticket for the snowmobile. Beside him is Charlie Bray, former well-known Toronto Argonaut football player, and Bill Scholdice. He's always been involved in these community events. Actually, the Winter Classic is one of a series of snowmobile events being held this winter in an effort to raise money for charity. Whipper Billy Watson, with his Snowrama, is a principal force behind many of these snowmobile events. In all fairness, the success of these events is often dependent upon corporate sponsors who donate their products, time and efforts, all for a worthy cause. And 2 weeks later, the lucky winner is presented with the keys to the snowmobile by the president of Kawasaki. And now back to the competition, this time the dual slalom event, one of the more unusual snowmobile events. The basic concept, competitors racing simultaneously on parallel courses, has been taken from the professional ski racing and adapted to snowmobiling. Here it provides us with an opportunity to see just how precisely these machines can be driven.
enough, Ron? Take some out of the old turkey here. There's all kinds in it.
And of course, what would any event be without awards? Which in this case were donated by the people at Molson's. Some of the luckier competitors receive a kiss from Miss Kawasaki.
Yeah, no, I don't want 440. 340. 340. That's what it's something to run. Jesus. Look at the clearance underneath there. Oh, there's a couple of brothers. Because both machines
It's an exciting sport. It's really very exciting, as a matter of fact. I wish I could have the chance to do it again.
But we're doing it all for Timmy. For the crippled kids. I was putting there one myself today, let me tell you, when I went around the corner and fell in the creek. It's all for Whipper Billy Wasserman. I'll do anything for him, because he's bigger than I am and he's a wrestler. We're doing this for the crippled kids of Ontario, and I'll do it again. I will.
As in all sports, snowmobiling possesses an elite class of competitors. They race on the Snow Pro Circuit, which is to snowmobiling what the Grand Prix circuit is to Formula One auto racing. The best snowmobilers in the world compete from December to March for over $125,000 in prize money, spread over 14 events, 7 in the United States, 5 in Canada, with the final 2 to be held in Sweden later this year. Now let's go to the newly built Markham Fairground to catch some of the action at the Markham Winter Nationals, third stop on the Snow Pro Circuit. The Markham event is the latest addition to the circuit. With one of the widest half-mile ovals, it has already become well-liked by many of the competitors. There's a good view of the pit area. Many of the racers live in those motorhomes for the entire 3-month season. The 40-foot tractor trailers you see are complete, self-contained racing garages just as they have on the Grand Prix auto racing circuit. The teams have every tool and part needed to totally rebuild a snowmobile. Research and development is very important in any motorsport, but especially so in snowmobiling. One manufacturer, Kawasaki, maintains a scientific research center in Shakopee, Minnesota. Because of the testing done on these competition circuits, the recreational machines have become much more dependable. Here's one of the factory team drivers just getting ready for today's action. Those shin pads are mandatory. The competitors must also wear helmet, goggles, and a tough plastic safety vest to protect the kidneys, chest, and back. And there's the Walsh Brothers trailer. Tom and Joe are from Milton, Ontario. They've been racing primarily on the Ontario circuits.
As long as you watch your driving and everything, it's not really that hazardous.
Team Frustration, all the way from North Dakota, has 6 machines and 3 drivers. One of their drivers, Todd Elmer from Evansville, Minnesota, is only 17 years old and a junior in high school.
The high speeds are getting up to in the corner. It's getting pretty fast. Try to get around there as quick as you can.
Because the track here at Markham is wider than most, it will allow 1 or 2 competitors more for heat, and perhaps allow for slightly higher speeds than normal.
We should be going 90, 95 with our 440s.
The mechanics are unloading a super modified machine. In Snow Pro racing, there are 2 categories: super modified, or super mod for short, and super stock. Each category is further broken down into 3 engine sizes: 250 cubic centimeters, 340 cc's, and 440 cc's. The difference between super mod and super stock is that in super stock the machine must maintain all the original manufacturer's components, though a few minor modifications are allowed. But in super mod, anything goes, providing the engine displacement is not changed. The mechanics will spend the last few hours before the start working on the machines until they have them as finely tuned as concert violins. There are more than 7,000 spectators here today, most of them from the southern Ontario region. The drivers are now being briefed on the various rules applying to the race. And there's Alan, Steve, and Mike Decker, part of the 7-member Decker family that races out of Wisconsin. That's Brad Hewlings in the Red Tooth. Brad is one of the favorites here today for the overall title. The officials have received over 200 entries. The official in the orange suit on the left is Rick Franks, the Canadian Snow Pro race director. He's the man who says whether they run on the track or not.
With the exception of 440X. Do it to it. Have a good day, guys.
The drivers will now head back to their respective pits and, with their mechanics, make last-minute preparations. The track will be scraped 2 or 3 times today to clear the ice dust that accumulates from the constant wearing action of the snowmobiles. They're now getting ready for the start of a Super Mod 440 heat. On the left side is Ed Chubitsky, beside him number 11 Bobby Donahue. In the center, team frustration driver Bobby Holland. To his left, Bob Elsner, and on the inside, Jerry Bunky. They get the green flag and they're off. Around the first corner is Ed Chubitsky in the lead, followed by Elsner and Donahue. And this is what the track looks like to the competitors. The spots you see is where those carbide runners have actually cut away the layers of ice, exposing the frozen ground. Passing over this quickly dulls the runners and making it all the more important to control the machines next time around. Down the back straightaway, Chubitsky all alone in front. Into the final corner, Chubitsky is still leading. Donahue has moved into second. Elsner is in third. And that's how they finish. Chubitsky, Donahue, and Elsner.
Who's the tight? How they look?
In the staging area, the drivers will discuss last-minute adjustments with their mechanics. Now, there are no restrictions in the way of what can be done to a machine while in the staging area. Theoretically, they could throw in a whole new engine. But once the pit marshal moves them out from the staging area, the drivers have 2 minutes to reach the starting line. Starting all the races today is Dick Beebe from the United States Snowmobile Association. Dick is the official starter for the entire Snow Pro circuit. That's Andy Van Dolder nearest the screen. He's the other half of the Flying Dutchman, a two-brother team from near Owen Sound. Let's see how they look from our elevated camera. Brad Hewlings is pulling ahead on the outside, and there they go down that back straightaway, hitting those incredible speeds of up to 100 miles an hour. Hewlings has now opened up a healthy lead over teammate Bunky. Here we see again exactly what the track looks like from Brad Hewlings' point of view. Coming out of the last corner across the finish line, it's Hewlings, Bunky, and in third place another teammate, Steve Thorenson. But now let's take a short break in the action and find out exactly what's involved in driving a snowmobile. The steering mechanism on a snowmobile is very similar to that of a motorcycle. A handlebar connects directly to the 2 ski runners in front. Always located on the left handlebar is the brake. The throttle control is always on the right handlebar. The red button is the emergency stop switch. This Intruder 440 is started with a key and a simple pull of the cord. And finally, one must never forget to turn the headlight on. So the actual mechanical operation of a snowmobile is quite easy. But to reach the level of driving proficiency that these fellows have attained takes years of practice, hard work, and dedication. We're back in Markham, and the 340 Super Mod final is about to get underway. On the starting line, from left to right, is Brad Hewlings, Bobby Donahue, Steve Thorenson, Doug Hayes, and Jerry Bunky. They're off. This should be quite a final. Into the first corner is Thorenson, Bunky, and Hewlings. Down the back straightaway, they begin to spread out a little as they open up the throttles. Around the far corner, Bunky is trying to get around Thorenson, and he can't quite catch him. Going into the near corner, Bunky is making another bid on the outside. He's done it. Down the back straightaway, it's Bunky, Thornton, and Hewlings. But Hewlings now in third is making his bid for the lead, and following right behind is Dougie Hayes, moving up from 4. Hewlings has done it. He's got the lead. Across the finish line is Hewlings, Bunky, and Doug Hayes. Wow. More exciting racing than that is very hard to find. But Brad Hewlings, Doug Hayes, and Bobby Donahue will be back right away for the Snow Pro 440 Supermod Final. At this stage in the overall point standings for the Markham Winter Nationals Gold Cup, Brad Hewlings is leading and Steve Decker is in second. All Hewlings must do is place in the top 3 in this race, and he'll have wrapped up the Gold Cup. It'll be interesting to see what type of strategy Hewlings will use, whether he'll go for first place or be content with a top 3 finish. But the final of the Supermod 440 is now underway, and right off the starting line, Bob Elsner jumps into the lead. But Brad Hewlings on the outside is making an incredible bid for the lead into the first corner. And he's got it. Hewlings quickly opening up his lead down the back straight away. In second is Elsner, but it looks like he's going to be passed by Donahue and Thornton. He is. So coming around the far corner, it's Hewlings, Donahue, and Thornton. There's a lap to go, and Donahue is beginning to make a charge for the lead. He's going to catch Hewlings. He's done it. Number 11, Bobby Donahue, alone in first place. And Bobby Donahue wins the Supermod 440. Second is Brad Hewlings, and Doug Hayes third. Hewlings wins the Gold Cup overall title at the Markham Winter Nationals. And many thanks to the people at Kawasaki, without whose cooperation many of the events seen here and the film itself could never have happened.